Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Once again, we've got the fantastic Mr. Nick on the show for this week's On the Bench. And today we're going to be talking about two topics, maybe a couple more if we squeeze them in, but we're going to talk about two main topics. Number one is
Advent calendars.
Number two is the Fiend, aka Bray Wyatt's title win, and what that could mean for the wrestling industry. Isn't that interesting? So today we're going to start off with, of course, Advent calendars. And Nick, you obviously are part of the 80s gang like me. We grew up in the 80s. What do Advent calendars mean to you as an 80s child?
Chocolate first thing in the morning.
Woohoo! Yes, exactly.
To be honest with you, it's actually quite good for this time of year where it's still dark and you need to wake yourself up a bit. And what better to do that than with chocolate? And all the positive endorphins it releases.
Yes, hot chocolate of all kinds. You know, not saying you should have it for breakfast, but a little nibble after breakfast is a good idea.
Now the thing is, and I know people are complaining a lot about the shops have too much Christmas stuff in them for the beginning of November.
That's right.
And I, on the whole, generally agree with that. But if you bought an Advent calendar today, you would have enough chocolates per day to last you until December, when you can buy another one for December.
Where it'll be cheaper because it goes down in sales because it's nearer Christmas.
And it'll go down even further in mid-December, so you can get yourself one for January, you can get one for February. They might have gone off by, their sell-by date might be March, so you might be pushing it with March.
Start paying out 25p a time for an Advent calendar, you're laughing.
Yes. So yes, if you buy an Advent calendar on this very day, and have one every day, then you'll have just enough for the start of December when you can get another one.
For a lot cheaper. That sounds a great idea, Nick. That's a great idea. And, you don't need to get the ones with the rough chocolate in. I mean, that's a bit of a myth. You know, everyone goes for the ones with all the bad chocolate in. You don't need to do that. Sometimes it's nicer to go just a tiny squidge upmarket, get yourself a Cadbury's one, things like that will definitely taste a bit nicer. I mean, when you're a kid, you don't mind that sort of synthetic chocolatey taste, do you? And you think that tastes really nice. Exactly, it even brings back warm memories thinking of that sort of fake chocolatey taste. You have it now.
Synthetic chocolate.
You have it now, it tastes like dirt. But, back when you were a kid, you loved it.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. But I want to talk to you guys about the other modern fad that's happened maybe the past 2, maybe maximum 3 years. Non-chocolate Advent calendars.
No chocolate?
No chocolate in those Advent calendars, and that is correct. And obviously there's a twofold thing. If you think about marketing here is the key thing. So number one, it's supposedly healthier for the children. Number two, on the evil spectrum, they are able to sell these babies for quadruple the price. I've seen toy Advent calendars such as Playmobil, Smiggles, Power Rangers, all these different ones that you can get. Batman ones with Batman toys in, Harry Potter, Playmobil, all these different things, Lego ones. You know how much the average asking price of these babies are?
I'm not sure if I want to know.
Between 20 and 40 pounds.
Wow.
I've seen...
But the thing is, sorry, you were saying.
I've seen a cheaper one in Aldi for like the knockoff Lego one for $6.99, and that's knockoff Lego. It's not real Lego.
It must be like these calendars must be huge.
They are. Most of them are at least quadruple the size of the other ones. But then they've got the plastic components.
How do they even fit through these kids' front doors?
Well, there is that. But so it's amazing how they're able to charge double the price. And obviously with that now, they've obviously found another hole in the market, because deviating away from the fake chocolate side of things, they're now able to go and do specialist gin Advent calendars.
Oh yeah, I've seen these.
Biscuit Advent calendars, whiskey Advent calendars, luxury chocolates. Adult entertainment ones, and we're not going to go that far, but I've seen those. And there's lots of different things in there where they are specialist Advent calendars for adults as well as children. And it's mad how you think about those, where they've literally taken a hole in the market and expanded it like mad. Because all you need to do is take away the chocolate and add in a different thing, and they've gone, give me £40.
Just don't. If you've got an alcoholic one, then for goodness sake, don't have it first thing in the morning.
Don't have it first thing in the morning.
Oh.
And don't do what Nick suggests, whereas buy 3 of them cheap and go mad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely don't. Yeah, definitely don't have them at once.
Yeah, definitely go, cool, I missed today. I'm going to just have 3
Yeah, you've got the standard rules for chocolate advent calendars definitely do not apply with those.
No, that's right. Oh, I missed a few days. I better have 3 gins at once.
Dear. I hope they've got a large responsible drinking.
Yes,
message
hopefully there is a large
in a
responsible
very
drinking
position.
Hopefully there is a large responsible drinking session on there.
Yes, and if you are purchasing one of these or already have purchased one of them, because again, it's the sort you could buy one today and you'd have enough for December when you can get another
Most
one.
definitely, and they would go down in price as well.
They would.
Yeah, that's definitely the key thing. Go raid the pound shops, go raid the shops for the cheap advent calendars, because they won't go out of stock, and all it means is you get to enjoy Christmas that little bit more.
Indeed.
Because I think that is probably, I love Christmas. I keep Christmas in my heart thanks to the Muppet Christmas Carol. You ever see that film, you'll cry for hours. But yeah, that sort of stuff will make you think, I actually can make Christmas a bit longer. And that's probably my one bugbear with Christmas. We spend half of the year looking forward to and really getting excited to roughly about 4 days worth of time. Because obviously you've got Christmas Eve, you've got Christmas Day, you've got Boxing Day, and potentially the fallout of Boxing Day. Some people would celebrate that as well. And maybe a couple of days here and there extra, depending on if you celebrate the Christian calendar. So if you think about it, maximum you've got 12 days, and you're hyping that up for the whole year. Let's think about that. So you need to make sure that obviously you're planned, but also, you're a bit more chilled, because there's only like 12 days. And I think it's mad how people sort of like start planning it in the start of the year. I know people that literally, once one Christmas is over, they start planning the next one.
I know. I mean, if you work in an industry that relies on Christmas, I mean, if you're like a Christmas card manufacturer or a tinsel maker or that, then fair enough. But yeah, spending the whole of the year looking forward to one part of the year isn't exactly my idea of fun.
No.
I suppose it is all go now. Because we've had Halloween.
That's right.
We've had bonfire night as well.
Bonfire night's done.
We've had all the explosions in the sky.
Most definitely.
Did you enjoy firework night?
I did, actually. I enjoyed fireworks night. Saturday and Sunday were the main days for us, because that was when all the weekend ones and Badger Jr. could stay up a bit later and watch them. Funnily enough, a Tuesday night was a bit awkward. It's like he wanted to sit up and watch them, and we were like, hey, you got school tomorrow.
Yeah, not ideal really. There's actually been a lot of stuff about Sainsbury's, of course, banned fireworks. Don't sell fireworks anymore.
Well, okay, that's unusual, isn't it?
I think there's kind of a shift towards restricting fireworks to just big events.
Big events, yeah, rather than which I understand. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but when me and Nick were young, we used to get those infomercials that made you cack scared of using a sparkler, let alone...
Hale and Pace and Dot Management had those, but yeah, there were other ones as well, weren't there?
Yeah, it's like, like you were actually horrified to use a firework without an adult present. So
indeed.
So I do like the shift in just organised events. I think that's a good idea. And to be honest, I get why the fireworks people are probably nervous of that, but I think it would actually bring more money into the industry if it was specifically done. And then, rather than just... And also, you wouldn't get all these random cases of people hurting their hands or, blowing their legs off, losing eyes, or doing really bad damage to them, because it's all organised and all professional.
Indeed. So, people who are actually specifically trained with it.
Exactly. Because then that would bring in new jobs, surely, because then you'd have, like, firework marshals and planning event organisers and all these different things, and they would actually help the industry more, because there'd be people that were specifically paid to deal with these things.
Indeed. So, I think that's... So, there's a kind of cultural shift towards that, and ultimately I think it's a good thing.
Most definitely. And also, then we're going to talk about. So we've added an extra topic in. We
Indeed,
shoehorned an
yes,
extra
that
topic
suddenly
in.
occurred to me during it.
That's
but
great.
you know, that's on the bench for you.
That's on the bench for you. So be responsible when scoffing chocolate and drinking gin with alcoholic.
Yes.
Indeed.
And if you do, don't go and try and put on a fireworks show.
That's right. And obviously, if you do get yourself a Lego advent calendar, don't rip open every single day because you'll spoil it and you'll know what the last piece is.
Yes.
And you'll be able to play with them for 5 minutes and then waste it. Why not do it once a day like you're meant to? Or,
Exactly.
like I was saying before, and Nick was saying, buy 2 lots and then you can have 2 lots of Harry Potter Lego, can't you? Ooh. But yeah, now we're going to talk about Bray Wyatt, aka the Fiend's title win. Nick's watched the video before, as I showed him before, and he is celebrated. He won the title at Crown Jewel after a disastrous Hell in a Cell match that WWE thought would have been a great idea. They tried to build him up as the new Undertaker, but yet they didn't let him win, and it was a weird count-out / disqualification thing. And for some reason, obviously the fans revolted. Everyone wanted Bray Wyatt to win, and he has, which is fantastic. They can't build up an unstoppable Undertaker-like monster and then go, actually, you know, you won't win. So then, obviously, now they've realised that he should have won. Like, this guy is like the Undertaker, Kane, the Boogeyman, and all these sorts of indestructible WWE characters all in one. You know, in fact, he even reminds me a bit of Hulk Hogan in a way, where he's like, you know, going to get up and rise. And yeah, we're not going to go over all that. That's another video for another time. But yeah, he reminds me how he's got that unstoppable force. And you can't have a character with an unstoppable force without at least 1 or 2 title reigns. And they have done it. They have managed to get it. Seth Rollins got his ass whooped, to put it in wrestling terms.
Makes you wonder if it was part of the plan all along.
Indeed, maybe it was part of the plan all along, but you know, I don't know. There was such a big backlash that they needed to do it. You know,
Maybe
the fans
that was what they wanted, though.
Maybe it was. Who knows?
Who could say? And he's put out his latest video, which is sort of based on a kids show.
Yeah, it's like a freaky kids show. So if you've never seen Firefly Funhouse, I recommend it because it is probably the weirdest, wackiest wrestling gimmick I've ever seen.
Just don't watch it late at night because it might give you nightmares.
Yeah, it's inspired by obviously Korn and Slipknot's sort of masked identifiers. There's lots of like weird, gory images that flash up in front of the screen. 1 minute it's all friendly, next minute he's going, "Let me in," and all that sort of stuff.
You'll be wondering, what on earth was in my whiskey advent calendar that's making this happen?
Yeah, because 1 minute you're literally watching it and there's Bray Wyatt doing the Muscle Man dance. I don't know if you've heard of that, Nick. That's literally him, all sort of like really fun and
I'd recognise
characterised.
it if I saw it.
Yeah, you'd recognise it. So he's doing 1 minute he's doing the Muscle Man dance, and then the next minute he's got the spooky mask on, going, "Let me in," and all that sort of stuff.
From an actor's perspective, he actually does do that video really well. To be able to switch between kind of moods and stuff.
Oh yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
It's a hard thing to get right when you are acting. I still remember like one of the first scenes I did as an actor, and I had to start off as a very mean boss, but then move to something a bit more kind and considerate, but still a bit smarmy.
Yes.
I will probably repost that at some point. It's from a short film.
Okay.
But yeah, to be able to kind of switch character like that is, you know, a very difficult thing for an actor to do. And kudos to Bray, he does that very well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was fantastic. And also a lot of people forget that acting and being able to do good promos is all part of wrestling. And you know that, Nick, obviously, with your wrestling experience and your things that you've done in contact with wrestling. A good wrestler is able to be, able to jump around the ring, able to obviously have good athleticism, and obviously be a good talker. And I think there's not that many wrestlers nowadays that actually have that triple threat. You had Hogan, you had Ultimate Warrior, had Undertaker, had The Rock, obviously, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these guys that were good talkers and good wrestlers. But in my opinion, and fight me on this, a lot of the modern generation don't have that.
I think a lot of them, they probably focus too much on one thing.
That's
so they
right.
either focus too much on the athleticism side.
That's right.
So very much on kind of like being able to do lots of different moves. or they may be focused too much on the character side.
That's right,
You know,
yeah.
So because ideally, you've got to have a bit of both. When you look at the wrestlers who've gone on to get quite good acting roles,
They have got good medium, yeah.
So there's being able to do that, because the whole thing with performance wrestling is it is wrestling and it is performing.
That's right,
So
definitely.
it's putting on a performance,
That's
putting
right.
on a character.
I mean, it's like guys like Edge, who obviously retired due to neck injury. He's now working on the TV show Vikings, I believe.
Oh, right, yes.
Yes. You've got Stone Cold Steve Austin, who has a really successful podcast and obviously a really cool beer line. Same with Chavo Guerrero. He has guest starred and helped in the TV show Glow on Netflix. And you've got all these guys that are, and obviously The Rock is the prime example. He's been able to shift from being a wrestler to working with, on the Fast and Furious series.
He's probably one of the most prolific and probably most sought after actors
Exactly.
of the moment.
Indeed, yeah, and obviously Hogan even tried to do wrestling and acting at the same time. They're more 80s, 90s corny nostalgia, but obviously his claim to fame with acting and things like that turned into like reality TV show, wasn't it? With Hogan Knows Best, which was obviously, one of the best reality shows of the early 2000s. If you haven't seen those, I recommend it. And
They may be floating around here on YouTube somewhere.
Indeed, most definitely, yeah. You could type in Hogan Knows Best and you'll find episodes of that easy. So it just goes to show that, Bray has done really well, and I'm really proud of my man, because he's done so well being able to transform his character. He disappeared early, I think it was last year, and they literally let him have time off, and I guess he spent months and months and months, probably unpaid, writing and developing the Fiend character, which I think is fantastic. He appeared from nowhere, and then they were able to literally transform him into World Championship material. So this is his second run as a champion, but this one I've got high hopes. WWE, do not screw up the Fiend character. I am warned.
Lesson.
You are warned. Do not screw it up. You're doing great. The Hell in a Cell match was very, very flawed, but you brought it back with Crown Jewel. So please do, if you can bring anything back in. Also, I want to say a side note about Crown Jewel and tell you guys that it was actually historical, because it featured the first ever female wrestling match in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And that's big news.
Go girls.
Go girls. I mean, obviously they weren't allowed to use the skimpy attire and all the makeup and all this sort of thing. But to be honest, I think that actually added to the match, because you weren't concentrating on what they looked like. You were just concentrating on their athleticism and their, ability in the ring, and obviously the mic skills and all the business. So good for you. And that was the first ever wrestling match with females televised in Saudi Arabia.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
So that is great news. Yes, indeed. So once again, let us know your views on Bray Wyatt's title win. If you think it was fluke, or do you agree with us and feel that it was the best thing since sliced bread? And of course, tell us about your thoughts with advent calendars.
And which advent calendars you have.
Indeed, or which ones are you tempted to buy? I'm really thinking on the Lego one, or of course Playmobil.
For Badger Jr. or yourself?
You'll never know. Bye for now, Barmy Badger Army. Keep safe, keep well. Much love, everyone. Big thank you to Nick for appearing on the show once
Pleasure
again.
as always.
As always. And will have a new travel vlog for you guys out on the channel at some point this week. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. It's blooming cold. We're going to go. I'm actually shaking. It's so cold out. And we're sitting on a cold railway. So my bum is cold. I don't know about yours, Nick, but my bum's really cold.
It is, yes.
And let's go. Bye.